Hello viewers, I made a video a while back about diffusion. So basically it's the net movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration down a concentration gradient. So yeah, it applies to fluids and it can occur with or without a partially permeable membrane. It is also a passive process. So today we're going to talk about osmosis. So osmosis is technically just a different type of diffusion. It's a subtype of diffusion, yeah. And this type of diffusion regards to only water molecules. So osmosis is basically just the net movement of water molecules from a region of higher water potential, we don't say concentration, to a region of lower water potential. It requires a partially permeable membrane to occur. So what are some factors that affect the water potential of solutions? So let's say I have solution A and solution B here. Now we can clearly see that solution A has more water molecules than solution B at a given volume. So therefore we can say that solution A has a higher water potential than solution B. Now let's say if I make solution B and solution A have the same number of water molecules in a given volume, I can say that both solution A and solution B have the same water potential. But if I put a solute and dissolve it in solution B, yeah, so let's just say it's a random solute and I dissolve in there, I can now say that the water potential of solution B is lower than the water potential of solution A. Alright, so let's see osmosis in action here. So over here we can clearly see that region B has a higher water potential than region A because of the presence of solute and lesser water molecules compared to region B. And region A and region B are separated by a partially permeable membrane, which water molecules can only pass through. The solutes cannot pass through. So after some time, it's going to look something like this. Now, why does this happen? We have to take back to what is osmosis. So basically, solution B had a higher water potential. So therefore, water molecules will move from solution B to solution A. So this explains the decrease in the level of B and the increase in A. Now the only reason why A still has these solutes and B doesn't is because of the partially permeable membrane separating it. Alright, so let's move on and find out how osmosis affects cell in living organisms. So let's take a look at the animal cell and the plant cell. So what if we put them in a solution with lower water potential compared to the water potential of the cell's cell sap? Now, this would mean that through osmosis, water molecules would exit the cells into the solution because the cell sap has a higher water potential than the solution. So for the animal cell, it will start to form these tiny spikes and it'll look a little bit like a star shape. So we can say that the animal cell crenates. So now it is technically just dehydrated. The plant cell, on the other hand, has a cell wall, and the cell wall is what gives it its shape. So it doesn't really changes its shape in any much. So only the cell membrane and the cell sap shrink away from the cell wall. So therefore, we can say that the plant cell becomes flaccid and plasmolizes. Now this process for the plant cell is reversible unless you leave it like in this condition for too long, and then it'll just dehydrate and die. Now, let's take a look what happens if we put these cells in a solution of higher water potential compared to the water potential of the cell sap. Now this means that the cell sap has a lower water potential, so water molecules would enter the cell from the solution. So let's take a look at these two cells here. Okay, we can clearly see that the animal cell has just burst, so it's dead. It's pretty much dead. But the plant cell is just like a rigid and inflated balloon, okay? Now the reason why the plant cell does not burst like the animal cell is because of the presence of the cell wall. Now what does the cell wall do? It provides the plant cell with mechanical support, so it prevents it from bursting. This animal cell, on the other hand, you can clearly see that it does not have a cell wall, so it just pops like a balloon when you blow in too much air. Now, as we can tell, there's water molecules entering the plant cell. So it's going into the cell sap. So therefore, the cell sap is expanding because of the water molecules going in. So it is exerting a pressure on the cytoplasm, which in turn exerts a pressure on the cell wall. So therefore, this pressure exerted against the cell wall. So this pressure exerted on the cell wall is what we call turgor pressure. Okay? And with this, we can say that the plant cell becomes turgid. Alright. Okay, so next thing I want to do is, what if we put the cells into a solution with the same water potential as the cell saps? So with this, we can say that it has reached a state of equilibrium and there is no net movement of water molecules. Now, when I say no net movement, it does not equate to no movement of water molecules. There are still water molecules moving in and out of the cell to the solution, but the number of water molecules going into the cell is the same as the number of molecules going out of the cell into the solution. So with this knowledge, we can say that the shape and size of the cells will remain the same. So thank you for watching.